Okay, well, that's very interesting because, I mean, from my experience as well, and I'm sure that you've seen this, Bob, there are so many organisations that will not place themselves as a market research organisation or even as a research organisation, but collect data. And that data is obviously collected maybe through apps or through loyalty cards, or, you know, in the UK here we have our Oyster card, like in Japan, in Hong Kong they have an Octopus card. So wherever you go on public transport, data is obviously collected about where you go, and that information is used to make different kind of business decisions. What threats do you feel that those kind of data collection platforms bring to market research, where there's no perhaps researcher in place, or what people might like to call research rigor, but data is still being collected through lots and lots of different means in a very kind of observational way and being used? Do you think that threatens our industry in any way?
I think research rigor is a threat. I really do.
The lack of...
Well, you know, the internet spoiled us. It also loosened up, softened up our standards. Mm-hmm. I also know that here in the United States, we are so much more entrepreneurially and profit-driven than in much of Europe, and particularly in the UK, which, when it comes to research, my perception still is that researchers there, in your neck of the woods, mm-hmm. are still much more committed to standards. Right. I know that there's a tremendous amount of work being done. We've talked to Microsoft, which has a group in New York, which is really focusing on how do we get past probability samples,
right.
and what could we use instead of probability samples,
right.
in order to do research that is still reliable. So it's being studied, and I know Microsoft's not alone, but I think there should be concern out there. You know, I'll tell you an interesting anecdote. We were involved in the 2007 to 2010 and 11 period in driving the research industry to improve online data collection.
Right.
Because there were some real problems that the online research industry really didn't want to not only admit, but have to do anything about.
Right.
I'm happy to say that we had a great deal of influence in getting them to do something about it. But at one point, a client said to me, Bob, if things are as bad, and bad was probably a strong word, if there's not much wrong with the online research that I've been doing, what do I tell my boss about what's going on?
Yeah.
And I said to them very quickly, because it just came kind of in a bolt to me, tell them we're making it better.
Right.
You don't have to tell them that it's been bad, because it hasn't been terrible. But we are endeavoring and working hard, the whole industry, to make it even better, mm-hmm. because we realize we have an obligation mm-hmm. to our clients. Mm-hmm. And I think that that's true in terms of standards and regimentation with the research that we do moving forward. I also think it's one of the reasons why, from time to time, such as in the recent past, where P&G threatened basically the survey industry and said, hey, if you guys don't do a much better job in your work, we're just going to turn to social media, and we're going to get all our information from that. Now, whether that was real or bombast, it got the attention of the industry, because you can't afford, you know, when the 800-pound gorilla, you know, calls you out to basically go, well, who cares what they think? You have to care what they think.